We love an urgent high-level meeting, right? What are we expecting?
Do we love that? Yes. The CSRC, the Securities Regulator, the watchdog, essentially, according to sources telling us that they're going to hold an urgent meeting today, Friday. Perhaps I would assume it's going to be in Beijing. Interestingly, you just mentioned Country Garden, which was once, just even a year or two ago, was China's biggest property developer by sales. It's now number 6, and it's been a bellwether. It's one of the few major property developers that hasn't defaulted yet. It missed those 2 interest payments earlier this week. It has a 30-day grace period, but right now the cash position is a problem for this company, as it is with all these developers. So what can this urgent meeting accomplish? So they're going to get some major developers, I'm not sure who or which ones, but not Country Garden, according to the sources, who will not be there. And also those, essentially financial institutions, which the government is trying to stimulate lending to the property sector after that, several years long crackdown, essentially to whittle down the debt woes in this sector. And it's a major pillar of this economy, obviously, that needs a resolution, but there doesn't seem to be one. And I think, if you look at the dollar bonds right now, you can see that, Country Garden's dollar bonds plunged 59% just in the past month. We can change the page and look at the stock chart, which has a similar ski slope downwards. It's fallen 30% in the last month, down more than 60% year to date, and is the latest poster child, obviously, in the property sector woes. And Country Garden has always been seen as a bellwether, if you will. It is run by, one of the richest women in China, and it is seen as a strong pillar of the property sector, but it is now facing dollar bond default. So we have to watch this space very closely.
Yeah, I guess there's diversity even in the property market in China, Steve, and this is a way that Country Garden echoes Evergrande, because there's a sense that they may be looking at that billionaire chair, that woman, to dip into her fortune.
Yeah, that is what creditors are looking at, because that is something that China Evergrande's founder, Hui Ka-yan, had to do, essentially. And Country Garden, I just mentioned her just a minute ago. The chairwoman is essentially one of the richest women in China. She has a fortune estimated at about $5 billion. And guess what? She's getting a dividend payment later today from her personal stake of upwards of $28 million. So will she be kind of pressured to dip into her personal pocket to pay some of these, coupons on the interest that is due, much like China Evergrande's founder probably reluctantly had to do. But again, this is a company that is faced with a cash crunch. The first 7 months, attributed sales fell 35%. And just yesterday, late last night, in fact, in a statement to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, Country Garden said it expects to report a multi-billion-dollar loss in the first half. It is in addition to an earlier forecast. We knew it was going to be troubled in the first half, but now it's putting a number of a loss of between $6.2 billion US dollars and $7.6 billion US dollars. And again, when those attributable sales are dipping, revenue is not coming in, buyers are not lining up around the block to buy these properties. It's a serious problem for one of the biggest bellwethers in the property sector, former bellwethers.